Hello, good evening and welcome. This is ASO Television News. My name is Usman Khatun Umar. The headlines. President Bola Tinubu assures Nigerians of dividends of renewed hope agenda. FCT Minister Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike inspects Kuje Gwagwalada Road. And Nigeria Police issues stern warning ahead of FCT Area Council's elections. Thank you once again for joining us, and now details of the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his administration's resolve to ensure the dividends of renewed hope agenda reforms are felt across every state and community in Nigeria. He charged members of the Zonal National Economic Council, that is NEC, comprising state governors, key government officials, and other relevant stakeholders to commit themselves to the delivery of the renewed hope agenda. President Tinubu stated this on Thursday in Abuja in his closing remarks during the second edition of the National Economic Council Conference held at the State House Conference Hall. The theme of the two-day conference was Delivering Inclusive and Sustainable Development, the Renewed Hope National Development Plan. The President expressed the honor of declaring the conference open with a clear call for unity of purpose, fiscal discipline, and coordinated action under the renewed hope agenda. Represented by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu noted that the reform is not an event but a process that requires courage, patience, and consistency from all stakeholders. The President emphasized that while the renewed hope agenda is not a slogan but a national commitment, such commitment demands that we move beyond dialogue to delivery. He commended the chairman of National Economic Council, Vice President Kashim Shettima, for his steady leadership of the National Economic Council and for guiding deliberations with clarity and focus. And now to the rest chambers of the National Assembly, where the Senate has expressed fresh concern over the rising wave of terrorist attacks across the country. As the chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Ahmed Lawan, described the security situation as worrisome. Senator Lawan stated this during the 2026 Budget Defense and 2025 budget performance review of the Ministry of Defense before the committee. In his opening remarks, the former Senate President said the exercise was taking place at a troubling time for Nigerians amid persistent insecurity across several parts of the country.
Our reality in the last 50 years has been that of battling terrorists and insurgents that have succeeded in carrying out kidnappings, mass abductions of communities and students, massacres, arson, and so on and so forth.
In his response, the Minister of Defense, Major General Christopher Musa, retired, acknowledged the security challenges, but assured the Senate that military operations were ongoing and yielding positive results. He maintains that the armed forces remain committed to protecting the nation's territorial integrity and restoring peace nationwide. The committee later went into a closed-door session to deliberate on sensitive operational matters, projects and budgetary figures presented by the ministry. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating power sector reforms and expenditure between 2006 and 2024 has constituted a 7-man subcommittee to conduct a forensic audit of the usage of gas supplied to electricity generation companies, GENCOs, across the country. This followed adoption of a motion moved by a member, Mr. Harrison Nwadike, who questioned the rationale behind the continued supply of gas to the moribund Sapele power plant over the past 1 year. Mr. Nwadike said the committee made the discovery during its recent oversight visit to the plant in Sapele, Delta State, noting that despite receiving gas supplies, the facility has not generated electricity in the last 1 year. Earlier, chairman of the ad hoc committee, Mr. Al-Mustafa Aliyu, said there were widespread concerns among Nigerians that Seplat Energy Company was not supplying adequate gas to GENCOs as required, thereby strangulating power plants and shortchanging the country. In defense, the managing director of Seplat Energy, Mrs. Ibiada Itotu, dismissed the claims, insisting that the company had remained committed to supporting the federal government power sector reform agenda. Also, the general manager, Gas Seplat Energy Company, Mr. Olubukola Fashoyin, disclosed that the Sapele power plant is currently indebted to Seplat to the tune of 20 billion naira for gas supplied. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Aliyu, expressed disappointment and wondered how a company of Seplat stature allegedly lacked the internal structure to detect foul play in the utilization of gas supplied to power plants. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezewonye Somwike, has continued his routine inspection of ongoing projects with visit to the Life Camp N5 Road Corridor and Karsana District. Speaking on the Life Camp N5 project being executed by Julius Berger, the minister said major construction work had been completed. He explained that only walkways and other finishing touches were ongoing. Barrister Wike noted that bridges earlier observed as incomplete had now been fully delivered with 4 lanes on each side. He added that the project is expected to be inaugurated as part of the activities marking President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 3rd year in office.
I sincerely thank them and believe that on our part we'll make sure that they get the necessary funding so as to finish this project on time. But we're very happy.
The minister also inspected the Karsana Road project being handled by Lubrix Construction. He described the road as a major ring route spanning over 10 kilometers and expressed satisfaction with the quality of work. He said visible progress on the carriageways and walkways shows the contractor is on course to meet the May-June completion timeline, assuring that the FCT administration will provide all necessary funding to ensure timely delivery. Reacting to media reports on President Tinubu's intervention in the political disagreement between him and Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, Barrister Wike said the president acted his role as a father to resolve issues between the executive and the legislature in the state.
Yes, Mr. President has been very kind to the people of the state. If there seems to be a problem between the legislature and the governor, and as a father, he really has to intervene. I remember this is the second time Mr. President is intervening. I believe, by the grace of God, this will be the last time. I believe that the Assembly, I've told them to do the needful to obey Mr. President, which I know they will not hesitate. And I also believe that the governor will carry out his own part to make sure that this is the final time Rivers people will begin to hear this kind of discord.
Moving on, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the National Peace Committee (NPC) have forged a strategic partnership to strengthen election security and promote peaceful conduct ahead of the forthcoming Federal Capital Territory Area Council election. The renewed collaboration was affirmed when members of the National Peace Committee paid a visit to the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amopitan, SAN, in Abuja. Welcoming the delegation, Professor Amopitan described the visit as timely, noting that the Commission had in the past week concluded a series of engagements with key stakeholders, including security agencies, political parties, civil society organizations, and the media, as part of final preparations for the FCT elections. He emphasized that beyond the immediate election, 2026 remains a critical preparatory period for the 2027 general election, underscoring the importance of proactive collaboration to manage emerging security risks. The INEC chairman commended the National Peace Committee for establishing an Election Security Information Hub, ESI, to complement institutional efforts at conflict prevention and electoral risk mitigation. Professor Amopitan acknowledged concerns raised over alleged threats among political actors, inter- and intra-party tensions, vote trading risks, and the broader security challenges in certain communities. He assured the delegation that the Commission would share relevant insights with security agencies to enable preventive and responsive measures. Earlier, the Executive Director of the Kuka Center and Head of the Secretariat of National Peace Committee, Reverend Father Atta Barkindo, conveyed the goodwill message of the committee's chairman, former Head of State General Abdusalam Abubakar retired, and its convener, Bishop Hassan Kuka. He assured the Commission of the committee's readiness to provide strategic guidance and support, not only for the FCT election, but also for the forthcoming governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun State, as well as preparations for the 2027 general elections. The Hausa Fulani community in Gwagwalada Area Council has formally endorsed the All Progressives Congress chairmanship candidates for the upcoming area council elections, Alhaji Usman Yahya. Speaking at the events, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the Federal Capital Territory, Alhaji Abdul Malik Usman, describes the endorsement as a clear indication that the APC is set for victory in the Gwagwalada Area Council election, scheduled for the 21st of this month. He assured the electorate that supporting the party at the center would guarantee sustained development at the grassroots level. Also speaking, the incumbent chairman of Gwagwalada Area Council, Alhaji Abubakar Jibrin Giri, said continuity in governance remains the best option in a democratic system. He noted that voting for Alhaji Usman Yahya will ensure increased dividends of democracy for the people of Gwagwalada Area Council. In his remarks, former member of the House of Representatives Abuja South, the APC senatorial candidate in the last elections, Zakari Anguludobi, commended the Hausa Fulani community for what he described as a wise and progressive decision, adding that the APC remains the party capable of delivering meaningful development. The highlight of the occasion was the presentation of awards by Hausa Fulani community leaders to key APC stakeholders in the FCT in recognition of their contributions to party growth and community development. The Nigeria Police Force Federal Capital Territory Command has warned that it will not take election-related offences lightly as preparations intensify for the forthcoming FCT area council elections. The FCT Commissioner of Police, CP Mila Dantawaye, gave the warning during a sensitization and security meeting with political party leaders, candidates, traditional rulers and other stakeholders held in Gwagwalada Area Council. The Commissioner of Police, CP Mila Dantawaye, represented by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Administration and Finance, DCP Lawrence Iwodi, appealed to all stakeholders to embrace cordial working relationships before, during and after the elections, stressing that security agencies will deal decisively with any form of electoral misconduct.
If we work together, there is no way that we will not have a very peaceful and successful election. That is the appeal we want to make to everybody. The political parties are vying to take it all. It's normal. It may not always be possible. It may not always come the way you expect. Whichever way it goes, as long as the process is orderly and peaceful, it is okay. And of course, what is the position of the law? If things do not go your way and you feel that something wrong has taken place, there's provision for redress.
You are watching Asshole Television News. Remember, you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, Star Times TV channel 127, and on Free TV we are on channel 507. We are also on the YouTube band on channel 38. Still ahead in the news, federal government reaffirms its commitments to climate reform planning. For detail of these and more stories, do stay with us. We'll be back after this short break.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, live the life that you remember.
Stay connected. Stay with us, starting from Yanga and Jolly.
Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon retired says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be commended for appointing the immediate past Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa retired as the Minister of Defense. General Gowon stated this on Tuesday, February 10, 2026 during a book launch titled The Military Iconic Leader of Our Time, authored by General Musa at the Armed Forces Officers Mess in Abuja. Our correspondent Richard Alechanu Anyebe now completes the report.
Speaking as the father of the day for the book launch, General Gowon said he was deeply sad when he learned that General Musa had retired, but was overjoyed when he was eventually announced as the Minister of Defense. This, he said, was because the president employed a professional soldier who has all the loyalty and love for the country, adding that General Musa has done well. The former head of state charged serving military personnel to be loyal to the president and to the country.
You as soldiers, to make sure that, yes, your loyalty to your country, your loyalty, to whoever your head of state or leader, of the country, and to make sure that you protect, their position, and when you do that, you are really protecting, your nation.
The book reviewer, Professor Muhammad Abubakar Muhammad, highlighted what the book, The Military Iconic Leader of Our Time, is all about.
The book underscores his leadership style, his tolerance, and also love and passion for journalism. He's a man that cuts across the sector, meaning that he is loved globally, not only in Nigeria. Like I said in the book, or like I read out during my review, he is loved not only by Nigeria, most especially by journalists, because he gives them platform, he gives them a listening ear. So he's a man that's worth emulating, and that is why I a bit touched the topic of the book from being a leader than to be a transformational leader. He was born a leader, but over time he grew himself to be a transformational leader.
Invited dignitaries at the occasion had the following descriptions of the celebrant.
He described General Chris Musa as a born leader, a patriot, and a fearless soldier who has served this country diligently.
Musa is someone that everybody loves. Musa is a very nice man.
As a military officer, we found in him an absolute professional career person.
High point of the book launch was the launching of the book by prominent dignitaries, including Abia State Governor Alex Oti, former Deputy Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, amongst several other important dignitaries.
Give me I, give me G, give me E, and give me R, and give me I, and finally give me A, Nigeria.
Richard Alechinwanyebe, ASO Television News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezewole Somwike, says he is satisfied with the pace and quality of work on the ongoing Airport Kuje and Kuje-Gwagwalada road projects. Speaking after inspecting the sites, the minister described the road corridor as critical to easing movement across the territory, noting that work on the airport to Kuje stretch has surpassed 70%, while the Kuje to Gwagwalada section is nearing 65% completion. He added that if the current momentum is sustained, the project is expected to be ready for inauguration by June.
Last time I was there, you remember, we stopped about at the mosque where they were constructing. And we were well impressed with the level of work done. And like the contractors have said, God willing, by first week of June or July, they would have inaugurated this project. It's a very important project so that you don't need to go to the through airport if you are going to go to town. So I think it's very important. We are very, very happy with what we have seen. If you take from airport to Kuje, it's about 70%. And here I can see it's almost 65%. So I think they will beat up.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to climate-informed planning with the unveiling of the 2026 seasonal climate prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. Speaking at the presentation in Abuja, Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo described the forecast as key national tool for guiding government, businesses, and citizens on climate-related decisions. He said climate change now affects aviation safety, food security, infrastructure, national security, and the economy, stressing that reliable weather information is critical for sustainable development. Highlight of the 2026 outlook shows early rainfall onset in parts of the South and Middle Belt, while Borno State is expected to experience a late onset. Most parts of the country are projected to record normal rainfall, with some areas experiencing above or below average levels. The minister called on the government agencies, state, the private sector and the media to support the dissemination and use of the forecast. NIMET Director General Professor Charles Anosike said the agency is adopting emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, to improve forecasting accuracy and expand climate advisory services for farmers and other users. Stakeholders at the event described the seasonal climate prediction as a vital tool for national planning and disaster risk reduction. The Nigeria Forest Security Service (NFSS) has strongly condemned the recent banditry attack in Woro, Kwara State, describing the incident as a threat to peace, security and national stability. In a press statement signed by the Commander General of the NFSS, Dr. Osatime Joshua Wole, the NFSS boss directed all officers across the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, to remain vigilant and proactive as operatives have been instructed to continue supporting the Nigerian police, the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Army in efforts to tackle insecurity and criminal activities, particularly within forested areas across the country. The statement further appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the Office of the National Security Advisor to consider the integration of over 48,000 trained NFSS personnel who are currently awaiting final directives for formal inclusion into the national security framework. The Ukomu Igala organization has expressed deep sadness over the violent clashes between farmers and herders in Ejule Ojebe town, Ibaji, local government area of Kogi State, which resulted in the loss of lives, missing persons and the destruction of farmlands and properties. This was contained in a press statement signed by the organization's national leader, Major General James Ataguba, retired. The statement, which sympathizes with families affected by the tragic incident, called on the Kogi State government, the Nigeria Police Force, and other relevant security agencies to intervene and act swiftly, without delay, to prevent further bloodshed and reprisal attacks. The statement further emphasized that Ibaji local government area continues to suffer deep socio-economic challenges worsened by years of neglect, lack of infrastructure, and environmental degradation, affecting farming and fishing livelihoods, as these conditions have fueled repeated communal tensions in the area. The organization therefore urged both the Kogi State and the federal government to investigate the underlying causes of these recurrent conflicts and take concrete steps towards achieving lasting peace and development in Ibaji and Kogi State at large. Now, as part of plans to stimulating foreign exchange liquidity in the retail segment of the market and meeting the legitimate needs of the end users, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has approved a weekly foreign exchange purchase by each bureau de change at $150,000, and that utilization comply with existing BDC operational guidelines. This is contained in a circular signed by the CBN Director of Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. Musa Nakorji, noting that the Apex Bank directed that all duly licensed BDCs are permitted to access foreign exchange through any authorized dealer bank of their choice at the prevailing market rate. It disclosed that the move aims to deepen market efficiency and ensure broader access to foreign exchange across the economy. The circular further restricts settlement practices, mandating that all FX transactions be conducted through settlement accounts with licensed financial institutions, adding that third-party transactions are prohibited, while cash settlement is limited to a maximum of 25% of each transaction amount. And on that note, we've come to the end of the news at this time. Before we go, let's remind you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his administration's resolve to ensure the dividends of the renewed hope agenda. Agenda reforms are felt across every state and community in Nigeria. That's the news. I am Usman Katun Umar. Many thanks for watching and good evening.